This is the Finesse Media Podcast. The Finesse Media Podcast.
I like it.
It's great. It's wonderful.
The best podcast on the planet.
Welcome back. Another episode of the Finesse Media Podcast, Season 4. I'm your host, Ken Finesse Media. And each and every week, as I mentioned, I bring you someone brand new. And this week is no different than weeks before. This week, coming up and topping off June, kicking it off with June, I'm having a co-host, my cousin. You already know him. You see him in the background already. You know him as House. I know him as my first cousin, my frat brother. What's going on, bro?
What's up, bro, man? Blessings to be on, man.
It's definitely good to have you on, kicking things off in the month of June. But as we bring in our cousin, our first cousin, to keeping things going with the title, she joins us on the first time on the Finesse Media Podcast, Season 4. Make some noise and always some love for my cousin, Cashmere, but we know as Hollywood. What's up, girl?
What's up, y'all?
Oh, man, look, it's so much we want to talk to you about. And so I thought, listen, if I'm talking to Kaki about all the things that she's been doing and all her successes, we're going to get into her 7-year anniversary. We're going to get into her business. We're going to get into all the things that she's doing to impact those kids in Chicago, Illinois. I thought if I can do all of that, I should bring somebody that knows her also equally. So that's why Marcus is being the co-host for this episode. So she's the CEO, she's the founder, she's the owner of Mother and Daughter Touch Home Daycare in Chicago, Illinois, making kids, really affecting kids in so many different ways. So we certainly want to talk about it. So how is that? It's a happy 7-year anniversary also.
Thank you. It's been amazing. It definitely has been a journey. I'm, overly excited that I took on this journey, just starting off, but it's been amazing. Shout out to God first, my parents, of course, my mom, and we've been rolling, like you said, 7 years in the game. I remember count day one or complete, our first week, but now we made it to 7 years. It's a blessing.
Yeah, happy 7-year anniversary. We just tipped over from May, so I'll still say it, happy belated Mother's Day. Because she's a mom, she's also finessing those kids too, because they are about to go to high school. We got Jaja, Jameer, she's about to go to high school. That's crazy in itself. So you are a mom and you're holding it down. But back to the business, Mother and Daughter Touch Home Daycare. Kind of what made you start this business? Tell our listeners and my viewers about your business.
Okay, cool. So I already have a story behind me starting a home daycare. I basically started off as going to school in the education field, basically trying to become a preschool teacher. So I started off working at a daycare center, which a close friend of mine, his mom opened up a center in Evergreen. I started working there. It was pretty good. The experience was awesome. Like I said, I have a story to tell, which is a testimony. So after working for about 6 months for the young lady, everything was going smooth, getting hands-on experience. I was a teacher's assistant, so I was pretty much leading behind someone because I was still in school myself, going to school part-time. But pretty much started the daycare off getting fired, and basically one day, just make it brief, I asked the young lady, because I had a relationship with her outside of work, like, hey, it's been a week. When are we getting paid? And the young lady was like, who are you? You asking me when you getting paid? I'm like, you're not communicating with us. So she was like, take off my smock and you're fired. I'm like, whoa. So it pretty much, that's how Mother and Daughter Daycare pretty much got started. I'm like, you know what? I'm in school for this. I have the experience, I already have the passion to work with children. I'm like, you know what? I can do this myself, Let me start my home daycare and let me see what's the requirement. Shout out to my kid's grandmother, Miss Beeman, for sure. She been operating daycare at that time. I think it was like maybe 20 years. She was going out of retirement. She was like 20 years operating a home daycare, and she was like, I'll help you. So that's my testimony, stepping out there on faith. And that's how I got Mothers and Daughters Daycare started.
And that's real. That's a real question too, because I said to Kaki offline, like, yo, it's a real good a good conversation to be had, because I never asked you why did you even start a daycare. I mean, I just know, I mean, for us, we grew up together, all three of us, you know, in the huddles of a bunch of aunts and uncles, and it was a bunch of us, and it really wasn't a daycare, but it sort of was, because we was at Sherry house, or we was at Debbie house, or we was at Renee house. I mean, the list goes on and on. So we kind of unofficially had our own daycares, but I never asked you, but I just seen your success, so I always just kind of champion and celebrated that. But I mean, to do this business, as it's called, mother and daughter touch home daycare, tell me kind of how's that's like being in business with your mother.
It is amazing, honestly. You know, we do have our little twos and threes because she pooper mama and she don't play. And it's like, you know, let's say for instance, the kids going on a little nap time, or, you know, in the midst of me trying to, like, you know, do a lesson, I'm on my phone, like, no, this is business. This is daycare, you know. So overall, it's been an honor. You know, my mother have always been my life. You know what I'm saying? She have a pure heart. Always, like you said, has been that person where we're going to go to her house. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, you know what I'm saying, nurturing. You know what I'm saying? Like, she that poo-poo mom. She gonna make sure the job get done, even when I feel like, nope, let's go. This these kids, you know. So she definitely bring out that, you know, that grandmother type of feeling when it comes to, like, you know what I'm saying, this daycare setting. She's gonna be like everybody call poo-poo mama. You know, that's what they call Miss Poo-poo Mama at the daycare. So it's a blessing.
No, that's what's up. Go ahead, Sherry. Go ahead, Marcus. I think you have the next question.
Oh yeah. So starting off, and now we all went to school, and we all know how challenging it is for us to actually go to school and to actually pursue, you know, get a job in the actual field that we're working for, that we went to school for. And so my question to you, just learning the backstory of you working for a daycare, getting fired, then, you know, just having an aha moment of saying, hey, you know what, let me just start my own. What was the biggest challenge for you actually when starting your own business or your home daycare?
The biggest challenge was pretty much like fear, you know, like, even though I had that mask, like, okay, you know, I can do this on my own. It was like, wow, I'm really about to, you know, take on the ownership of trying to operate a daycare. And the thing is, if I don't get the kids, I don't get paid. You know, if I don't get these parents to trust me with their child, their children in my home at that, because people are really so big on a center, but I'm a home base. I feel like the smaller the setting, the better for the children. So I would say it was fear at that time, like basically really stepping out there and, like, you know, like, wow, I'm really about to start this business, you know? So I would say that was a fear that I had to overcome at that time. Now I'm serious, but yeah.
No, absolutely. And you know what? A lot of just, you know, talking around with just different people, a lot of people say fear. And I also have a testimony to that too, you know, just fear of just stepping out on faith, just because you don't really know. You don't know what's on the other side, but for you to step out and just say, you know what, I'm just going to trust God. And 7 years later, here we are.
Did you ever want to quit? Because these kids bad as hell. I mean,
okay.
I mean, keep it real. What? I mean, shout out to you. I mean, it's people. Listen, there's a list of people, Khaki, and for people that's watching, if you're in this field, hooray to you. But there's a few people that I take my hats off to, and that's the fire people, that's the police, that's the teachers, but really the daycare teachers. I mean, because those little suckers are bad. I mean, one of my best friends is a teacher. She always supports and watches the show, but she knows this. She works in a daycare, and when I call in the morning time, these kids are screaming. And how many kids, you know, do you have enrolled now?
So we do have 12. When the summer comes, we have 12. Right now we have 9, but when the summer comes, it will be 12, no more than 14 for sure. But yeah.
But did you ever want to quit?
And that's when you said them, like, I ever wanted to quit. No, I never had the idea of quitting, but it was days where I felt like, oh, I don't want to get out the bed today. And if it was a job, I could have easily, like, hey, you know, I don't feel good today, I can call off, you know what I'm saying? But I would do it from my home. So grateful to God, like I said, for my mom, shout out to Miss Merlin. Like, if I'm having like one of those days, like I just don't want to get out of my bed, like I just be in my room, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm doing it from my living room, down room space, you know what I'm saying? So I would never say quit, but I will say like it was days I probably like, didn't feel like, getting up out the bed or whatever, but never had the idea to quit because I look at like, shoot, we all we got. My parents have to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Like I had built their relationship with them. So I knew it wasn't going to be quits. And this is how I eat, and I have been very, very, very fortunate and successful. Like all of our parents that started with us, they started from, a lot of these babies started from the womb. Like their parent might came in with one child or two, they leaving me with 4 and 3. So they say our daycare cursed them because
that's when they got to be sent home with the note. That's when the kids got to be sent home with the note, stapled to the book bag and be like, listen, today is your last day because we got word that your mom is pregnant. Can't nobody else come up with it. No, this is too many kids. Go ahead, Mark. You got a question.
Yeah.
So, and again, like we see the glamour of everything. And, a lot of people don't know just the backstory and just what happens behind the scenes. So what would you say is your current, some of your current challenges now that you face?
Well, what I'm actually working on now, you all, is basically building business credit. When it comes to our people, we're not knowledgeable when it comes to credit. You know what I'm saying? And how to build credit and how to build business credit. So I would say that was a challenge for me, like let's say 2 years ago, just not knowing how to build credit. Like, running a daycare at the time, I didn't even have an LLC. I just opened up a home daycare. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like you needed to have an LLC, but the benefits behind having an LLC, becoming tax exempt is like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, really? I used to talk about all this stuff and then I can write off at the end of the year, I don't want to be charged taxes, on it. So I would say like, just not being knowledgeable about a lot of grants and things that we are entitled to when you do start your business. So I would say lack of knowledge. It was a big challenge when like pretty much operate any type of business,
And let's continue to pay that forward for people that's watching and that's inspired by, your story and, seeing what you do. How will one, start to, get a home daycare?
Okay. Well, you know what I can say is every state is different. Like I actually have a homegirl out there in Dallas, Texas. She is a correctional officer. I went to school with her at Central, but however, she tried to tap into like starting a home daycare a little over 3 years ago. Her sister, they moved from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and her sister operated daycare out there, but she's still in the field, But I know when I tapped in with her, she was just saying like the requirements was different from Chicago, which is, us. It's like, I believe that every state have their own guidelines and requirements. But for us here in Chicago, you definitely have to have a high school diploma. They raised the bar up. So now you have to have like 15 credit hours with the state. Of course, be certified in CPR, first aid. And then every year, you just have to continue to educate yourself with these different courses that the state wants you to take every year. So to be honest, about, I want to say 5 years ago, a lot of the people of our skin, honestly, Latinos, you know what I'm saying? Our people, minority, they started to like buy these 2-flat buildings and they was taking off of these daycare. And then they raised the bar like, you know what? We need y'all to have these credit hours. So a lot of people had to go back to school, you know what I'm saying, to get certified because they was like, wait a minute, these people making up too much money, in this field. Like I said, if you have the passion to do so, I'd rather you start your own instead of working for someone at a daycare center or even a home base for 10, 15 years and you could have started your own, So that's just, my little way. I feel like if you have the passion to work with children, definitely start your own. I help actually 3, I'm in the process of helping my 3rd friend, but right now I have our cousin Tiffany. Y'all know Tiffany Walker. Yeah, she started one here in Lansing. Me and her pretty much got to start. I helped her get all the paperwork together. And then now she, then moved on to Atlanta. And she still operates her daycare out there in Atlanta, Georgia. And then another good friend of mine, she's been up and running for 2 years now. When the pandemic hit, that's when she was just getting started. So yeah, like I also help, my close people that's
Yeah, the
trying to get
pandemic
into
has certainly changed the way people have done business. And also, I don't know if you're experiencing with the formula shortage, with parents not being able to get the milk and whatnot for the kids. And you're in the daycare space. Are you experiencing or seeing families having any difficulties getting their formula?
Now I haven't experienced that.
Well, that's good.
Like I said, starting this game, a lot of my parents breastfeed,
That's
breastfeed.
good.
We actually have a new parent, our cousin Raven, Bobby's daughter. Y'all know Raven, right?
Yeah.
And she breastfeed. I was like, hey, you breastfeeding? She like, yeah. I'm like, cool, come on with it. So I haven't experienced that. I have heard people talk about it, but it hasn't hit home yet.
Yeah, that's good. And hopefully it doesn't. I mean, with the pandemic, it shut down the factory. So what they're doing is having to kick things back up and then push things out. I just seen an article where Europe is shipping some things over. So it's with Abbott and Nestle company. So that's a real tragic thing out there. So hopefully that's not going to come on your doorstep or affect any kids or parents, that's under your guardianship. But speaking of parents and guardianship, it's so funny. Have you seen Jack Harlow interview when he was talking, I think, on the Power 96 or whatnot in New York about not knowing that Brandy and Ray J were brothers?
All right, how about I go this way? She had a TV show. She started a TV show.
Tell me another hint. Her brother is the reason why a lot of people are famous, you could argue.
Her brother had an amazing sex tape.
See, baby, my love is true.
Very famous.
Who's Ray J's sister?
Oh my God!
Who's Ray J's sister? Yo, fact. He's serious.
I know that's.
Yo, he's 24.
I didn't know they were siblings. Who is it?
You didn't know Brandy and Ray J are siblings?
Yes.
Wow.
Nobody's ever told me that in my life.
You just found that out today?
Nobody's ever told me that.
Brothers and sisters. Did you see that?
Oh no, I didn't even see that.
No. Jack Harlow is a white, inspiring or a rapper, up and coming rapper, I should say, a white guy. And Jack Harlow was on an interview, and he didn't know that they were brothers and sisters. I think he knew of those artists. But it was just hilarious to me. What it made me think about is the connection that Brandy and Ray J has and have had so many years, and we've seen it in the public eye. And then for you and your brother that we see as we saw growing up, but then for people that's on the social media, you continue to show that love and give that love to your brother. And I hear him in the background. He's messing up my editing, by the way. But your relationship with I'm going to call him Cooley, but your relationship with your brother, how important that is to you and the way you do business, and also how you guys have done really business together.
Well, once we family origin, so we was all brought up together. You know what I'm saying? We all stick together. We got. So I feel like the relationship that I have, with my brother, Cool J, I call him, and Steve, because Steve always, what I'm saying, behind the scene. But that's our go-to. You know what I'm saying? That's first we go to. But overall, I gotta protect him, even though I'm the middle child. I'm the big sister, but it's just all about protection and keeping each other safe and just making sure we look out for one another. Like we was raised up that way. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it come naturally. If he need me, I'm there. If I need him, he's there. Like you and I, all of us. If we need each other, I feel like we was brought up that way. So I really, when I look on the outside of other people's relationships, I'm like, wow, like. Whoa, so y'all wasn't sleeping in bed together.
It's mind blowing.
Y'all, I'm saying, like sleep in the bed together. Like then y'all come from the same background, the same love, the same struggle. So yeah, I feel like when I just step out or meet new friends or just talk to friends, I'm like, whoa, we don't treat each other like that, So that'd be pretty much mind blowing when I witness from other people. Seriously.
It's ludicrous. I mean, when I see it, I'm like, whoa, we was definitely tight. And I knew it then. It wasn't like something in the retrospect. I'm like, wow, I had to see other families to kind of know that we were special. I literally knew it growing up. I was like, we didn't really go out and had to, go out on the block. We took trips every week and going different places. And so I see you do that with your kids. Marcus is doing that with his daughter, and we're continuing to do that collectively. Y'all just came from Jamaica and Houston, and we're down here in Dallas. We just turned up last year. We turned up in Minnesota.
Okay, Family reunion cold like Minnesota.
So it's going up. So Minnesota is coming up in July. I'm excited about it. So the family is going to be together, and we're going to be turning up and finessing the game in Minnesota. But before you get up out of here, Kaki, I got a couple more questions to ask you, because you are again celebrating 7 years in the business and doing it. But what's next? What's next for you for the next 7 years?
Okay. So good question. So for the next 7 years, like honestly, I'm working on expanding, and now like I'm trying to like get another location. Basically, I'm working on becoming a homeowner. Like I said, this is my year. I will be a homeowner this year. And yeah, it's gonna be up there. And what I'm trying to do is convert the daycare over to my basement. So what it's looking like right now this year is me becoming a homeowner and pretty much running my daycare, of course, in a nice, you know what I'm saying, safe environment. I know it's things happen all over the world, but like I said, I'm coming from, you know, a 50th girl to what we have seen violence, witnessed it, you know what I'm saying, firsthand. Then, you know, transition to Inglewood, true, where it's all, you know. So it's like, I'm definitely working on, like I said, not only for myself, my 2 children, but also putting my daycare family in a safe environment. You know what I'm saying? Where we can take a nature walk, where we can play in the backyard, because it's times where living, you know, where I'm at right now, you know, Marquette area is pretty side. You know, I got my little 4-block radar, we cool. But overall, you know, we hear sirens all day. We hearing shots. It's gonna warm up now. So my biggest goal right now is focusing on putting us in a safe environment where we can, like, you know, kids can be a kid, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna be keeping up with you. We're gonna be keeping up with you. And in a moment, I want you to let people know how they can follow you, support you. And if they're in Chicago, maybe get their kids enrolled, or, you know, if they are pregnant, maybe in a couple of years, I don't know how young you take them, they can have their young one enrolled there. But each and every week on the Finesse Media Podcast, Kaki, I ask my finesser, that person is you, that person that's finessing the game. But who is that person for you, Kaki, that you say that's finessing the game? 30 seconds.
You know what? It would be myself.
Hey,
that's it.
It would be me. Right. You know, I'm always going to, you know, finesse the game, and I always trying to like bring out, you know what I'm saying, the best in other people, you know, not even myself, and always encouraging people. So I'm the finesser, okay? I'm going to bring out the best in you and make sure, you know what I'm saying, you become all that you can be. You know, I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to push you. So it will be me. But always hats off to my Cuddy right there. Looking forward to you doing that food truck. And also, you know, our other cousin Tiara, that's my girl. You know, she's doing big things too. You need to get her on here, you know. She's expanding with her girls group out there in Minnesota. I'm really trying to get on her time though. Like, I like her whole little idea, but yeah, I definitely take
shout out to Shine. Those girls are doing their thing. Yes, I done the logo, so shout out to Shine. And also, real quick, yeah, and shout out also too is what you mentioned before we get up out of here, because he's gonna come back next season 5, to talk about it. But we already gonna be launching that logo up soon too. So Marcus, man, real quick, man, let people know what's coming up, what's coming down the pipe. She teased a little bit about the food truck, but it is coming. And it is going to be hotter than ever, literally, with that jerk chicken. But he'll be back for season 5 to talk more about it. But let people know real quick, man, what's to come.
Man, seriously, man, God's been blessing, man. I actually launched a food truck actually on my birthday this past March. Yeah. So it's the name of the food truck is Jerking Around. Pretty much we're going to be jerking around all of DFW, man. So we trying to take it over. Just be on the lookout, man. It's good jerk chicken, Chicago based. It's just everything that you're gonna want, and you're gonna keep coming back.
Yeah, for sure. So jerking around in Dallas, Fort Worth, but I'm sure like Turkey Leg Hut and all these other big pop-up places that has expanded. This brother being your city, but for sure in Dallas. So check him out. He's gonna be on the move, literally on the move in Dallas, and he'll be back in season 5 to talk more about it. But Kaki, real quick, let people know how they can keep up with you.
Okay, well, you can definitely follow me on Facebook. I actually Cashmere House, CASHMERE, last name House, HOUSE. Also Instagram, Cashmere Only One, that's spelled CASHMERE ONLY, and then the number 1. That's how you can follow up with me. I'm pretty private but public, but
she gonna holler at you. She gonna holler at you anyway. You got some badass kids. She gonna be hollering at you.
Yeah, so that's where you can find me at, you know.
That's what's up. And you can find me next week on the Finesse Media Podcast, bringing you something brand new. So you've been watching another episode of the Finesse Media Podcast, Season 4. I'm your host, Ken Finesse Media, and I got my girl, my first cousin, Cashmere House in the building, holding it down. And my first cousin, my frat brother, holding it down. My alumni brother, also.
This has been another edition of the Finesse Media Podcast. Join us again next week for the latest news from HBCUs. Special guest